Welcome to the first part of our Planning Your Future video series. During this introductory part, I'm going to give a brief introduction to myself, going to give you an idea of some of the benefits that you get from listening to this on video, as opposed to, say, Skype coaching or face-to-face training and coaching. Some of the key elements in planning a future to make it easier and more likely to happen. And some NLP techniques will actually make those elements easier for you to put into practice. A very simple exercise to start you off, and an idea of what's in the other segments. So firstly, to introduce myself, I'm Michael. If I look at my career, I can really break it into 3 decade chunks. The first 10 years I was a retail buyer. I was working for B&Q Superstores, where I was buying a wide range of their products, probably both loved and hated by some of their key suppliers. During my time there, we actually moved the turnover from about 30 million to up to almost $1 billion. So I've got a good grounding in negotiation and that sort of stuff. The second decade, I ended up as strategy manager for British Telecoms, and during that time I helped a number of account directors, sales managers, sales general managers in anything from helping them to sell calls over the phone, call plans over the phone, to multi-million or in fact billion-pound outsourcing contracts. For the last 10 years I've been running my own NLP training and coaching company. And really the advantage I've got, which relates to this particular series, is because I've been working with small numbers of people or individuals, sometimes over a number of years, I've had the opportunity of finding out which of the approaches and which of the NLP techniques work over a period of time. Because one of the important things about all the things that we're talking about is to choose stuff that actually makes a difference. And I've been lucky enough, because I've been working with some very, very good people over that length of time, being able to tell which of the sorts of stuff we're dealing with works, a lot of which I'm suggesting you to over this series, and some of the other stuff which is least effective. So we're going to concentrate on what actually works. Now, obviously, if you're going to do one-to-one training, then as a coach and a trainer, I can format it directly to your situation, your context. But within this video series, you have the opportunity of exploring a wide range of ideas, and I say a lot of them will be directly relevant to you. So what are some of the key elements in creating that future? The first one is to actually have some big, bold plans. Now, the importance of having big, bold plans is not to have something to beat yourself up about if you don't make it, but is to have something that's exciting enough that sets a direction that actually means that you are happy to do stuff on a day-to-day basis to get there. So big goals are important, not because of the goals, but because they're exciting enough and motivating enough to get you to do the small steps that you need to do to achieve them. So one of the things we're going to look at is how do you set big, bold, audacious goals that actually give you a direction. If you know where you want to go, the next stage is being honest and open about where you are now. So we'll look at where you are now, but also to get you to do an inventory of the things that you've got in your favor, the things that you've learned, the people that you know, and other things that you've gained in this position of where you are now. Because if you're open and honest about where you are now, and you set a direction, an exciting direction, it becomes relatively easy to plot a map from one to the other. So what are the other elements? As I say, when you've got your direction, you know where you are now, it's a question of breaking the journey down into milestones and first steps. Milestones so you have reasonable chunks to aim at, but also small first steps, because much of the art is actually having small steps that are almost small enough that you have no excuse not to do them. So we'll be looking at milestones, small steps, but also resources that you'll need for that journey. One of the other things we'll be looking at that's very important is your mental state, your mental and physical state, because often the reason people don't achieve things is that they get terribly excited at first, but it's when they come to the inevitable obstacles on their path that they back away, as opposed to having the mental attitude to either kick through them or to find a way around them. So we're going to be looking at ways that you can use your state or your mood to build in the resources that will help you overcome anything else that's on the way. One of the other things that we're going to be looking at is mental rehearsal. Because one of the ways of, again, making the journey much more easily, just like any really successful athlete, a certain amount of mental rehearsal can make a dramatic difference to how easy and how enjoyable that journey is for you. So those are some of the elements in creating your successful plan. How can NLP help? Well, NLP is a tremendous benefit for anybody setting up for these sorts of campaigns or journeys, because NLP is very much about how to do it. If you take as the plan as what to do, NLP will actually give you the method of actually doing it. It will actually give you the instructions of how to do it. And if you go back to what we said of producing a map where you're motivated because you really want the end goal, you'll actually have three of the main components. You'll know what to do because you've got your plan. You'll know how to do it because you've got the NLP overlay. But also, the other thing we'll concentrate on is make sure that you're actually able to do it, that you're actually in that situation where you want to take action. Because to achieve anything, you need to know what to do, how to do it, you need to be motivated to do it, and you actually need to take the steps. And so really over this course, we're going to be looking at how you do all those things. So what are some of the future episodes about? We're going to have an episode on NLP, because an understanding of what NLP is about will help you on your journey. We're going to explain the easiest way of setting big, bold goals. Not that you have to do them, but by having them, you'll find it easier to take the action which will get you much further than you currently think. We'll give you ways of thinking about where you are now, about being open and honest about where you are now, so you're able to set that plan. We'll take you through how to set milestones, how to set first steps, and how to mentally rehearse those first steps so they become easy to do. We'll look at how to put it all together so that you are confident in your own mind that you have a plan that you can accomplish. And lastly, there's some bonus exercises that will give you the techniques, or give you another technique to be able to rehearse it all in your mind very, very quickly, thus reinforcing all the work that you've done before. Short exercise. As we move forward through the series, the exercises get a little bit more detailed. And the exercises are important because in the end, it's not me talking that's going to get you your results, it's you doing stuff. But I want to keep the exercises very simple because I want there to be no excuse for you not to do them. Because to get the very best value from the series, you will do the exercises. And the first one is very simple. Write down on a piece of paper 4 or 5 things that you'd like. That's all. Very simple. Write down on a piece of paper 4 or 5 things that you'd like. There's only one rule I'd like you to bear in mind, and that is make sure that they're things that you want as opposed to things that you don't want. Things that you want, and they can be anything. It could be 2 million in the bank, could be £100 in the bank. However, it doesn't want to be to get out of debt. So go for the positive. You want to have a balance of £200 in the bank. You want a balance of £2 million in the bank. It doesn't matter which, but go for something positive. Don't go for you want to give up smoking. Go for you want to be really healthy. So you choose what you want, but choose 3, 4, 5 ideas of things that would make this whole series useful to you and write them down. So let me summarize briefly. We are going to take you through a way of planning for your successful future, for you to plan your success. And although the ideas are very simple, they are surprisingly powerful. If you do them, you will find it makes a real difference. Thank you for listening to this episode. I really look forward to joining me on future episodes.